Imagine you are sitting alone, thinking about a moment when someone's words or actions deeply hurt you. Maybe it was a close friend who betrayed your trust, a family member who dismissed your feelings, or a stranger whose harsh words lingered in your mind longer than they should have. The pain feels fresh, even though the moment has passed. No matter how much you try to forget, it keeps coming back. Why does it hurt so much? Why is it so hard to move on? Have you ever wondered why a single painful memory can stay with you for years, while moments of joy seem to fade so quickly? Why does one hurtful comment echo in your mind louder than 100 kind words? And why, no matter how strong you try to be, does the pain still find its way back into your thoughts? Let's say someone insults you in public. At that moment, your heart races, your face burns with embarrassment, and your mind fills with anger or sadness. You replay their words over and over, analyzing every detail, wondering why they said it, what they meant, and what you should have said in response. Hours pass, then days, maybe even weeks, but the memory doesn't leave you. The person who hurt you might have forgotten about it, moved on, or never even realized they caused you pain. But you carry it with you like a heavy weight. Welcome to Wisdom Woven. Here, we explore deep wisdom that can change the way you see life. If you've ever been hurt by someone and struggled to let go, this video is for you. We will dive into powerful Buddhist insights that will help you heal, regain your inner peace, and never let anyone's words or actions control your emotions again. But before we continue, I want to remind you of something important. There are so many views on this channel, but only 0.2% of viewers actually subscribe. If you find value in this content, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. It helps us reach more people who might be struggling just like you. Also, we'd love to hear your thoughts, so drop a comment below and let us know how this topic resonates with you. Now, let's begin. Why does pain linger? Why do we allow it to shape our emotions, our thoughts, and even our actions? The answer lies not in the words or actions of others, but in the way our minds attach to pain. Buddhism teaches that suffering is not caused by what happens to us, but by how we respond to it. Imagine a sharp thorn piercing your skin. The initial pain is real, but if you keep pressing on the wound, the pain worsens. Similarly, when someone hurts you, the pain exists in that moment, but it is your mind that keeps pressing on it, replaying the event, deepening the wound. The Buddha once compared emotional pain to being struck by two arrows. The first arrow is the hurtful event itself. It is unavoidable. But the second arrow is the suffering we create by holding on to the pain, replaying it, and allowing it to control us. The second arrow is what we have the power to remove. Many people believe that getting even or making the other person feel the same pain will bring relief. But in reality, holding on to resentment only poisons your own mind. The more you cling to anger, the more you suffer. Buddhism teaches that true freedom comes not from revenge, but from understanding and letting go. Think about this. If someone gives you a gift and you refuse to accept it, who does the gift belong to? The same applies to hurtful words and actions. If you refuse to hold on to them, they lose their power over you. Letting go does not mean allowing people to hurt you repeatedly. It means refusing to carry unnecessary pain. It means choosing peace over endless mental battles. As we go deeper into this journey, we will uncover the true nature of hurt, the ways to break free from emotional suffering, and the power of detachment. In the next part, we will explore why holding on to pain hurts more than letting go and how you can start releasing it today. Why holding on hurts more than letting go? Listen carefully. There is something you must understand about pain. The more you hold on to it, the more it hurts. It is like gripping a burning coal, expecting the other person to feel the heat. But in the end, it is your own hand that gets burned. Think about the last time someone hurt you. Maybe they betrayed your trust. Maybe they spoke to you in a way that left a deep scar. Maybe they simply walked away, leaving you with unanswered questions. And now, you carry this pain everywhere you go. It does not leave your mind. It plays in the background of your thoughts like a song stuck on repeat. But let me ask you, what are you holding on to? The words? The actions? Or the meaning you gave to them? The mind has a way of collecting wounds like a bag filled with heavy stones. Every insult, every rejection, every painful memory becomes another stone in this bag. You carry it on your back, day after day, and with every step, it gets heavier. But instead of dropping the bag, you hold on tighter, convinced that one day, carrying this weight will bring you peace. It will not. A man once came to the Buddha, his face twisted with anger. "They insulted me," he said. "They humiliated me in front of everyone. How can I not be angry?" The Buddha smiled gently and asked, "If a person offers you a gift and you refuse to take it, to whom does the gift belong?" The man frowned. "To the one who offered it, of course." The Buddha nodded. "Then why do you accept the insults? If you do not take them, they remain with the one who gave them." The man was silent. This is the truth. You do not have to hold on to what hurts you. You do not have to accept the poison that others offer. But if you do, then it is no longer theirs, it becomes yours. You might say, "But I cannot forget. The pain is real." Yes, the pain is real. But pain is like a storm. It comes. It stays for a while. And then it goes. It is the mind that turns a passing storm into a permanent winter. Look at a river. When you throw a stone into it, the water ripples for a moment and then moves on. It does not hold the stone, does not cling to it. It simply flows. But the human mind does not flow, it holds. It grabs every stone, every insult, every painful moment, and clutches it tightly. And so, the suffering continues. Now you may ask, how do I let go? Letting go is not something you do once. It is something you practice every day. You begin by understanding that holding on does not change what happened. No matter how tightly you grip the past, it will not rewrite itself. What has been done is done. The only thing left is your choice. Do you continue suffering, or do you release it? Imagine a bird trapped in a cage. The door is open, but the bird stays inside, believing it is still trapped. This is how most people live. They hold on to pain as if it is the only thing keeping them safe. But in reality, it is the only thing keeping them imprisoned. Some people believe that if they let go, they will lose something important. They believe that their anger, their sadness, their resentment gives them power. But what kind of power is it? Does it bring peace? Does it bring happiness? No, it only deepens the wound. Letting go is not weakness. It is strength. It is the courage to put down the heavy bag, to free yourself from the weight of old wounds. Close your eyes for a moment. Picture yourself standing by a river. In your hands, you hold a stone. This stone is your pain. Feel its weight. Feel how heavy it is, how it drags you down. Now, slowly, open your hands. Let it fall into the water. Watch it sink. Watch the ripples fade. Now breathe. This is the beginning of freedom. You are not your past. You are not your pain. You are not the things that have happened to you. You are the awareness that sees them, the space in which they come and go. The moment you stop holding on, you become free. And once you understand this, you will never let pain control you again. Breaking free, the power of detachment in Buddhism. Listen carefully. You are holding on to something that is hurting you. You carry it everywhere. This wound, this anger, this pain. It is heavy. It exhausts you. And yet, you refuse to put it down. Why? You believe that holding on gives you control. That if you keep thinking about it, replaying it in your mind, you will somehow change what happened. But can you? Can you rewrite the past? Can you force someone to apologize? Can you undo the pain? No. Then why do you keep it? Why do you nurture it like a flame, feeding it with thoughts, memories, and emotions? Do you not see that the only person suffering is you? A man once came to the Buddha, his face twisted with anger. He had been betrayed by someone close to him. He wanted justice, revenge, something to ease the storm in his heart. He asked the Buddha, "How do I let this go? How do I stop the pain?" The Buddha picked up a stone and placed it in the man's hand. "Hold this," he said. The man gripped the stone tightly. "Does it feel heavy?" the Buddha asked. "Yes," the man replied. The Buddha smiled. "Then why don't you put it down?" The man frowned. "Because it is in my hand." The Buddha nodded. "Just like your pain. You hold it because you believe you must. But in truth, you can let it go at any moment. The weight you carry is your choice." The man stared at the stone, realization dawning upon him. He opened his fingers, and the stone fell to the ground. "Tell me, do you understand? Your suffering is not in the past event. It is in your grip, your refusal to release it. You are not chained to this pain. You are simply holding on to it. Detach. You think detachment means not caring. That if you let go, you are weak, you are giving up. But true detachment is strength. It is the courage to say, "This no longer serves me. I choose peace." A bird does not grieve when a branch breaks beneath its feet. Why? Because it trusts its wings, not the branch. You, too, must trust yourself. Do not put your peace in the hands of others. People will hurt you. Life will be unfair. But if you anchor your happiness to things outside of you, you will always be at their mercy. Detach, not with anger, not with bitterness, but with wisdom. Say, I see what happened. I acknowledge my pain, but I will not let it consume me. Ask yourself, if you let go of this pain, what would remain? Who would you be without it? Lighter? Freer? Happier? Then why do you hesitate? A master once told his disciple to carry a bowl of water up a mountain. The disciple walked carefully, trying not to spill a single drop. But the path was long, and soon his arms ached. His fingers trembled. The weight of the bowl became unbearable. "Master," he cried, "this is too heavy. I can't carry it any longer." "Then put it down," the master said simply. The disciple hesitated. "But I was told to carry it." "And who told you that you must suffer?" the master asked. The disciple stared at the bowl. Then, with a deep breath, he set it down. At that moment, he felt a wave of relief wash over him. "Now tell me, what is your bowl of water? What are you carrying that is draining you, exhausting you, breaking you? What will happen if you put it down?" "Nothing, except freedom." Letting go does not mean forgetting. It does not mean allowing others to walk over you. It means choosing yourself over your suffering. It means refusing to let your past dictate your future. You do not have to hold on to this pain any longer. The moment you decide to let go, you are free. Not tomorrow. Not next year. Now, drop the stone. Set down the bowl. Trust your wings. Detach. And be at peace. Seeing through illusions. Understanding the true nature of hurt. Come, sit with me. Let's talk about this pain you carry. You say someone hurt you. Their words, their actions, like a knife to your heart. You feel the wound, raw and deep. But tell me, where exactly is this pain? Point to it. Is it in your body, your heart, your mind? If you close your eyes, where does the hurt exist? Perhaps you think it lives in the memory, in the past. But the past is like last night's dream, gone the moment you wake up. You cannot touch it, you cannot hold it, yet you keep reliving it as if it is happening now. This is the illusion. The event is over, yet you suffer, not because of what happened, but because you keep bringing it back. A man once came to the Buddha, furious. "Master, my heart is heavy with anger," he said. "A friend has betrayed me." His words have cut deep. The Buddha listened, then picked up a stone and threw it into the river. "Tell me," he said, "how much does that stone weigh?" The man looked confused. "I don't know, maybe a few grams." The Buddha nodded. "Yes, but if you hold it in your hands for an hour, will it feel the same?" The man shook his head. "It will feel heavier." The Buddha smiled. "And if you hold it for a day?" The man sighed. "My hands will go numb." "This is what you are doing with your pain," the Buddha said. "The weight is not in the stone. The weight is in how long you hold it. You see, the moment you were hurt, the pain was real. But now, you are the one choosing to carry it. The person who hurt you, where are they now? They may be sleeping peacefully, eating, laughing, moving on with their life. But you are still holding the stone. Look deeper. What is pain made of? It is not solid. It is a thought, a memory, a feeling. And like all thoughts, it comes and goes. The problem is not that pain visits you, but that you invite it to stay. Think of the sky. A dark cloud may pass, but the sky remains unchanged. You are the sky. Your pain is only a passing cloud. But you forget this, and instead of letting it drift, you hold on to it. You trap yourself in a storm that was never meant to last. A student once asked me, "Master, how do I stop feeling hurt?" I said, "Take this cup of tea." He took it. "Now, walk across the room, but do not spill a drop." Carefully, he walked, his eyes fixed on the cup. I then asked, "Did you notice the birds outside?" He shook his head. "Did you feel the breeze?" Again, he said no. "Why?" I asked. "Because I was focused only on the cup," he said. I smiled. That is your answer. When you hold pain too tightly, you miss the beauty of everything else. The world does not pause for your suffering. The wind still blows. The flowers still bloom. Life is happening all around you. Yet you sit in the shadows, clutching pain like a prized possession. But pain is not a treasure. It is a thief. It steals your peace, your joy, your present moment. And yet, you refuse to let it go. You might say, "But Master, I cannot help it. The pain is too strong." No, the pain is not too strong. Your attachment to it is. You believe that holding on to it gives you control, that it protects you from being hurt again. But does it? Or does it only make you suffer longer? If someone insults you, their words are like fire. But fire only burns if you stand too close. If you walk away, the flames cannot reach you. This is the secret. You do not have to pick up what others throw at you. Let their words fall to the ground. There is an old Zen saying, "A broken mirror does not reflect. Fallen leaves do not return to the branch." What is broken is broken. What is past is past. Why carry the weight of something that cannot be undone? Many people spend their lives waiting for an apology that never comes, waiting for someone else to heal their wounds. But the truth is, no one else can free you. The door to your suffering is locked from the inside. Only you hold the key. So I ask you, what are you waiting for? To be understood? To be acknowledged? To be given back what was taken from you? Tell me, how long will you wait? A month? A year? A lifetime? And in all this waiting, who suffers? You, not them. You must see through this illusion. You think you are chained, but the chains are only in your mind. Let them go. No one has the power to hurt you unless you give them that power. There is a river flowing nearby. If you drop a handful of salt into a glass of water, the water becomes undrinkable. But if you drop that same handful of salt into the river remains unchanged. Your pain is the salt. If your heart is small, every hurt poisons you. But if your heart is vast, like the river, nothing can disturb your peace. So tell me, will you continue holding the stone? Will you keep staring at the broken mirror? Or will you let go, step forward, and become free? Transforming pain into wisdom. Sit down for a moment. Breathe in, breathe out. Now, think of the pain you have been carrying, the words that cut you, the betrayal that shook you, the wound that never fully healed. You have held on to it for so long, haven't you? Like a stone in your hand, heavy, rough, unyielding. But what if I told you that this very pain could be your greatest teacher? What if, instead of breaking you, it could make you stronger, wiser, untouchable? Pain is not your enemy. It is a messenger. It comes into your life, not to destroy you, but to reveal something deeper. A part of you that still clings, that still expects, that still hopes for the world to be different than it is. The pain is pointing at something inside you, something that needs attention, understanding, and release. But most people do not see this. They react, they fight, they resist, and in doing so, they only make the pain stronger. Imagine a fire. If you feed it wood, it grows. If you take away the fuel, it fades. Your pain is the same. If you keep replaying the hurtful words, if you keep thinking about what should have been, if you keep feeding the fire with your thoughts, it will consume you. But if you stop, if you step back, if you allow the fire to burn out on its own, it will lose its power. But how do you do this? How do you turn pain into wisdom? The answer is simple. See it clearly. Do not run from it. Do not push it away. Do not try to numb it. Instead, sit with it. Observe it. Ask yourself, what is this pain trying to teach me? Maybe it is teaching you not to depend on others for your happiness. Maybe it is showing you where you are still attached. Maybe it is a reminder that nothing is permanent, that everything changes, even the wounds that feel eternal. There was once a monk who was insulted by a man on the street. The man shouted at him, called him names, tried to provoke him, but the monk simply smiled. "Why do you not react?" the man demanded. The monk replied, "If someone offers me a gift and I do not accept it, to whom does the gift belong?" The man was silent. The monk continued, "In the same way, if you offer me anger and I do not accept it, it remains yours. Do you see? The pain others give you is only yours if you accept it, if you hold on to it, if you let it take root in your mind. But if you simply let it go, it cannot touch you. It has nowhere to stay. It drifts away like smoke in the wind." Now, you might say, but it is not that easy. The pain is deep. It is real. Yes, it is. But so is your strength. So is your ability to rise above it. Do not let a single moment of hurt define your entire life. Do not let someone's mistake become your burden. If a thorn pricks your foot, do you leave it there, or do you remove it? Holding on to pain is like leaving the thorn in place and wondering why you are still bleeding. Some say time heals all wounds. But this is not entirely true. Time only dulls the memory. Real healing comes when you change your understanding. When you stop seeing pain as an enemy and start seeing it as a lesson. When you stop wishing things had been different and start accepting things as they are. You may think forgiveness is for the other person. But forgiveness is for you. It is not about saying what they did was right. It is about freeing yourself from the chains of the past. You do not forgive to let them go. You forgive to let yourself go. Look at nature. The river does not hold onto the stones that fall into it. It lets them sink, and it keeps flowing. The wind does not cling to the leaves it carries. It moves on. The sun does not refuse to shine just because the night was long. It rises again, without hesitation. You, too, are meant to move, to flow, to rise. So, let the pain be your teacher, not your master. Let it shape you, not shatter you. Let it guide you, not control you. When you do this, when you truly understand this, you will see that pain was never the enemy. The real enemy was always your own resistance. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Let it go. Not for them, for you. Compassion over resentment, the key to inner peace. Sit down. Breathe. Let go of all thoughts for a moment. Now, think of the person who hurt you. Their words, their actions, their betrayal. Whatever it was, let it come to the surface. Feel the weight of that pain. It is heavy, isn't it? But now, ask yourself, who is truly suffering because of it? Is it them, or is it you? Most people carry their pain like a stone in their heart. They replay the moment, again and again, as if keeping the wound open will somehow bring justice. But tell me, has it ever helped? Has holding on to resentment ever made the pain disappear? Or does it keep you chained to the very thing you want to escape? Anger feels powerful in the moment. It gives the illusion of control. When someone wrongs you, your mind rushes to defend itself. Thoughts of revenge, of proving them wrong, of making them regret their actions. But what does that really achieve? Does their suffering heal your wounds? Or does it only deepen your own? Buddhism teaches that resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. The more you hold on to it, the more it spreads within you. It hardens your heart, clouds your mind, and fills your soul with restlessness. And while you suffer, the person who hurt you may not even remember what they did. Now, listen carefully. There is another way. A way to free yourself, not by ignoring the pain, but by transforming it. And that way is compassion. You may ask, why should I show compassion to someone who hurt me? But compassion is not about them. It is about you. It is about releasing the grip they have on your mind. It is about choosing peace over endless suffering. Think of a fire burning in your hands. The tighter you hold it, the more it burns you. Resentment is that fire. You don't need to throw it at someone else to be free. You simply need to open your hands and let it go. This does not mean you allow people to mistreat you. It does not mean you become weak. In fact, the strongest people are those who master their own emotions. To forgive is not to forget. It is to free yourself. It is to say, I refuse to let this control me any longer. Imagine two travelers walking through a desert. One carries a bag filled with stones, holding on to every past hurt, every insult, every betrayal. The other carries nothing but a light heart. Which one reaches their destination with ease? Which one suffers with every step? Compassion is not just for others. It is for yourself. It is understanding that people act from their own wounds, their own ignorance, their own suffering. A person who hurts others is already lost within their own pain. Their actions are a reflection of them, not of you. When you understand this, something shifts within you. You begin to see beyond their words, beyond their actions. You see them not as an enemy, but as a being trapped in their own suffering. And instead of feeding the cycle of pain, you step out of it. A wise monk once said, hatred never ends through hatred. It ends through love. Not the kind of love that expects something in return, but the kind of love that simply chooses peace over suffering. Right now, you have a choice. You can continue holding onto the weight of resentment, carrying it with you every day, letting it shape your thoughts and emotions. Or you can set it down, breathe deeply, and walk forward without it. The path is yours to take. But remember, only those who let go can truly be free. The role of karma. Why hurts are not permanent. Sit with me for a moment. Breathe and deeply. Hold it. Now release. Do you feel how the air flows through you and then disappears? This is the nature of everything in life, coming and going, never staying forever. Yet, when someone hurts us, we act as if that pain is permanent, as if it will remain in our hearts forever. But this is not the way of the world. In Buddhism, we speak of karma, not as punishment, not as revenge, but as the natural movement of cause and effect. Whatever is done, whether good or bad, leaves an imprint. But just as the wind can erase footprints in the sand, time and wisdom can dissolve the pain left behind by others. Nothing stays. Not the hurt, not the anger, not even the person who caused it. Have you ever thrown a small stone into a still lake? The water does not resist. It allows the stone to enter, to sink, to settle. The ripples form, they expand, and then they disappear. This is karma. What is given will return to where it belongs. If someone has wronged you, you do not need to take justice into your own hands. The energy they send out will return to them in time, and the energy you choose to hold on to will shape your own future. People often believe that karma means others will suffer for what they did to us. But this is a misunderstanding. Karma does not punish, it teaches. Every action creates a result, just as a seed planted in the earth will one day sprout. But you, standing here now, must ask yourself, will you be the one who waits for their suffering, or will you be the one who lets go and walks forward? Think of the sky on a stormy night. The clouds are dark, heavy, and full of thunder. But they do not own the sky. They pass. They must. No storm has ever remained forever. Your pain, too, is like this. It came from somewhere, it arrived, and in time, it will fade if you do not hold on to it. What happens to the person who hurt you? The answer is simple. They continue their journey, carrying the weight of their own actions. Maybe they are unaware. Maybe they do not regret. That is not your burden to carry. What matters is what you choose to do with the pain they left behind. There is a story of a monk who was insulted by a man full of anger. The monk listened in silence, his face calm. The man shouted, cursed, but the monk did not react. Finally, exhausted, the man asked, "Why do you not respond? Do you not feel insulted?" The monk smiled and said, "If someone offers you a gift and you do not accept it, to whom does the gift belong?" This is the way of wisdom. When someone throws fire at you, you do not need to catch it with your hands. Let it fall. Let it burn out on its own. This is karma at work. The moment you stop engaging with the hurt, it begins to lose its power. It is not easy, I know. The mind wants justice. The heart wants apology. But neither of these are within your control. What is in your control is your own peace. Why waste it on those who did not value your kindness? Close your eyes for a moment. Think of the pain you have been carrying. Now imagine placing it on a leaf in a river. Watch the leaf drift away, floating, carried by the current. This is how pain should be, acknowledged, but not clung to. The more you let the river take it, the lighter you become. Karma is not only about what happens to others. It is about what happens to you when you choose to let go. If you hold on to pain, it plants itself within you. It grows thorns, it spreads roots. But if you release it, your mind becomes clear, your heart becomes light. And with this lightness, you begin to heal. The one who hurt you does not control your future. Only you do. If you carry resentment, you drink poison and expect the other to suffer. But if you walk away, if you choose wisdom over anger, you step into a life of peace that no one can take from you. So let them go. Let their actions return to them in their own time. Walk your own path, free from their shadows. That is the greatest freedom. That is the deepest wisdom. And in the end, that is the truest justice. The impermanence of suffering, finding freedom in change. Sit with me for a moment. Take a deep breath. Feel the air into your lungs, then leave. Notice how nothing stays. Every breath is different from the last. This is the nature of life. Movement, change, impermanence. And yet, when someone hurts us, we act as if that pain will last forever. But tell me, where's the pain from 10 years ago? Where's the anger you felt last year? Even if the memory remains, the feeling is not the same. It has shifted, faded, transformed. Pain does not have the power to remain unless you keep holding on to it. This is the truth. Everything that arises must also pass away. Think of the sky during a storm. Dark clouds gather, the wind howls, and the rain pours. In that moment, it feels like the storm will never end. But it always does. The clouds move, the rain stops, and the sun returns. Your suffering is the same. It feels overwhelming now, but it is not permanent. Yet, we resist this truth. We hold on to our suffering as if it defines us. We replay the past, reliving the pain over and over. But tell me, if a fire burns your hand, do you keep touching the flame? No. You pull away. You heal. So why do we keep touching the fire of old wounds? Why do we keep feeding the pain? A man once came to the Buddha, filled with grief. His son had died, and he could not accept it. He wept and begged for relief. The Buddha told him, "Go to the village and bring me a handful of mustard seeds from a house that has never known sorrow." The man searched and searched, but every house had a story of loss, pain, or suffering. He returned, realizing that suffering is not his alone. It is the nature of all things. But just as it comes, it also goes. Suffering is like a wave in the ocean. It rises, reaches its peak, then falls away. The problem is, we try to hold on to the wave, refusing to let it pass. We want justice, closure, and apology. But life does not wait for our conditions. It moves forward, and if we do not move with it, we remain trapped in pain. Tell me, what happens to a river when it meets a stone? Does it stop? No, it flows around it. It does not fight, does not resist. It simply moves. And in time, even the hardest stone is shaped by the water's patience. Your pain is a stone in the river of your life. You can stay stuck against it, or you can flow around it, knowing that in time, it will smooth, lessen, and fade. Many people believe they must heal before they can move forward. But healing is not a moment. It is a process, and that process happens as you continue moving. Do not wait for the pain to disappear before you live. Live, and the pain will fade on its own. Think of a wound on your skin. If you pick at it every day, will it heal? No. It will stay open, raw, painful. But if you let it be, if you allow time and nature to do their work, it will close. The heart is the same. If you keep reopening old wounds with thoughts of resentment, anger, and regret, the pain will never leave. But if you allow it to pass, it will heal, just as surely as a cut heals on your skin. We often believe that pain must mean something, that if we suffered, there must be a lesson, a meaning, a reason. But sometimes, pain is just pain. It does not always have to teach you something. Sometimes, the only thing you need to learn is how to let it go. Close your eyes for a moment. Think of the person who hurt you. Now imagine them as a cloud in the sky. Watch as the wind carries the cloud away until it is gone. That is how pain should be treated. Not as something to cling to, but as something passing, moving, changing. The Buddha once said, "Nothing is forever, except change." This means that no matter how deep your suffering feels, it cannot stay the same. Even in your darkest moments, life is shifting, adjusting, transforming. The pain you feel today will not feel the same tomorrow. And one day, you will wake up and realize that what once hurt so much is now only a distant memory. So I ask you, why hold on to something that life itself is trying to take away? Why fight to keep pain alive when its nature is to disappear? Be like the river. Be like the sky. Let the clouds pass. Let the waves rise and fall. Let suffering move through you, instead of making it stay. And when you do this, you will find something beautiful. Not just relief, not just peace, but freedom. True, unshakable freedom. The kind that no pain, no person, no past can ever take from you. Close your eyes for a moment. Take a deep breath. Imagine yourself sitting by a calm river, watching the water flow. The river does not cling to anything. It carries leaves, twigs, even heavy stones, without resistance. It simply flows. Now, think about your own heart. When someone hurts you, it feels like a stone is thrown into your river. The impact creates ripples, waves of pain, anger, and confusion. But after some time, what happens? The ripples fade. The river keeps flowing. But if you hold on to that stone, if you clutch it tightly, refusing to let go, the weight remains with you. It does not harm the one who threw it. It only burdens you. Pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. When someone's words or actions wound you, it is natural to feel hurt. But the real suffering begins when you relive that moment, when you replay it in your mind, again and again. This is how the mind traps itself. It holds on to the pain, feeding it, keeping it alive, long after the moment has passed. And yet, if you step back and observe, you will see something profound. The pain exists not in the wound itself, but in your refusal to let it heal. Healing does not mean forgetting. It means no longer allowing the past to poison your present. If you cut your finger, would you keep touching the wound to see if it still hurts? Or would you clean it, protect it, and allow it to close? Emotional wounds are the same. The more you pick at them, the longer they take to heal. But if you care for them with awareness, they will close on their own. A person who hurt you might never apologize. They might never realize what they have done. But ask yourself this: why does their realization matter? Would their regret erase your pain? No. You heal not because they understand, but because you decide to move forward. Waiting for someone else to fix what they broke is like waiting for the wind to return a fallen leaf to its branch. It will not happen, but new leaves will grow. In Buddhism, there is a teaching: you are not the same person who was hurt. The one who suffered in the past was a different version of you. Right now, in this moment, you are already someone else. Your cells have changed. Your thoughts have changed. Even your emotions are not the same as they were yesterday. So why hold on to pain that no longer belongs to you? Think of a burning coal. If someone hands it to you, and you grasp it tightly, who suffers? Not the one who gave it to you. You do. The tighter you hold it, the deeper it burns. But if you simply open your hand, the pain ends. Letting go is not about weakness. It is the greatest act of strength. Silence is powerful. When hurt, most people react. Words spill out in anger. Actions follow in resentment. But silence is unshaken. It does not mean acceptance of wrong. It means choosing not to be controlled. A tree does not argue with the wind. It bends, but it does not break. And after the storm passes, it stands tall once again. Many believe they must win over those who hurt them, prove something, teach them a lesson. But what is the victory in proving pain? True strength is in rising above, in choosing peace over conflict. The Buddha once said, "Hatred does not cease by hatred, but by love alone." This does not mean you must love those who hurt you. It means you must love yourself enough to not let them darken your heart. Your mind is like a garden. If you plant seeds of anger, resentment, and bitterness, those are the things that will grow. But if you plant seeds of understanding, patience, and self-love, your heart will flourish with peace. Every time you choose to let go, you water the flowers, not the weeds. Imagine standing on a bridge. Below, a river of past pain, memories, and regrets flows endlessly. You have two choices. You can jump in and fight against the current, exhausting yourself, or you can stand still, watch it pass, and walk forward. The past will always flow behind you. You do not belong in its waters. What happened to you may not have been fair. It may not have been right. But your healing does not depend on fairness. It depends on your decision. You do not need closure from others. You only need closure from yourself. So, take a deep breath. Feel the weight of pain resting in your hands. Now open them. Let it fall. Watch it drift away. And walk forward, lighter, freer, at peace. The Zen master sat calmly, his eyes half closed, as if seeing something beyond the reach of ordinary sight. With a gentle voice, he began to speak. Imagine a lake on a quiet morning. Its surface is still, reflecting the sky above. Now, picture someone throwing a stone into that lake. Ripples spread out, disturbing the calm. But soon, the water returns to its natural state, unshaken, untouched. This is the power of silence. He paused, letting the words settle like dust floating in a beam of light. Then, he continued. When someone hurts you, your first instinct may be to react. Words rise to your lips. Emotions rush through your veins. You want to defend yourself, to fight back, to make them feel the pain they inflicted upon you. But tell me, what does this accomplish? Does it erase the wound? Does it bring you peace? His eyes scanned the faces before him, searching for understanding. There is a saying in Zen: silence is thunder in the ears of those who do not understand it. When you respond with silence, you are not weak. You are not surrendering. You are choosing wisdom over impulse. You are refusing to be a puppet controlled by another's cruelty. A gust of wind stirred the leaves outside, a whisper from nature itself. The Zen master smiled. Consider the bamboo. When the storm comes, it does not stand rigid, fighting the wind. It bends, allowing the force to pass through. And when the storm is gone, it rises again, untouched. If the bamboo resisted, it would break. But because it surrenders to the moment, it survives. He leaned forward slightly, lowering his voice as if sharing a secret. Silence does not mean you accept wrongdoings. It does not mean you allow others to harm you. Silence means you choose not to add fuel to the fire. It means you understand that some battles are won not by fighting, but by refusing to participate. Someone in the audience shifted uncomfortably. The master noticed and nodded knowingly. It is difficult, isn't it? To hold back when your heart is burning. To walk away when anger begs you to stay. But tell me, What is more powerful, a roaring flame that destroys everything in its path, or a steady, gentle light that lasts through the night? The room was silent, but the energy within it buzzed with realization. Buddha once said, "Anger is like holding a hot coal with the intention of throwing it at someone else. You are the one who gets burned." The same is true for words spoken in pain. Once released, they cannot be taken back, and often, they cause wounds that never fully heal. He looked up at the sky, as if listening to something only he could hear. True strength is in restraint. When someone hurts you and you remain silent, not out of fear, but out of understanding, you free yourself. You stop the cycle of pain. You refuse to carry their darkness in your heart. His voice softened, almost a whisper now. There is a power in stillness. A power in knowing you do not have to answer every insult, every betrayal, every moment of cruelty. When you are silent, you force the other person to hear their own words echo back at them. And in time, they may realize the weight of what they have done. A bird outside chirped, as if in agreement. The Zen master smiled again. Do not mistake silence for inaction. A tree does not argue with the axe. A river does not quarrel with the stone. And yet, over time, the tree remains, and the river smooths even the sharpest rock. That is the power of patience. That is the power of silence. He let out a slow breath, his eyes shining with kindness. When someone hurts you, just do this. Be like the bamboo, be like the river. Do not hold on to pain. Do not carry their words in your heart. Let them pass through you, like the wind through the leaves. And in the end, you will stand unshaken, untouched, unbroken. The lesson was over, but in the silence that followed, it lingered, filling the room with something more profound than words ever could. Walking the path of forgiveness is not easy. If someone has hurt you deeply, you might feel like they don't deserve your forgiveness. You might believe that holding on to your pain protects you. But in truth, the burden of resentment is heavier than you realize. Carrying it does not punish the one who hurt you. It only drains your own peace. Forgiveness is not about letting them escape justice. It is about freeing yourself from the chains of the past. Imagine a monk carrying a heavy stone. When asked why, he says, "Because someone threw it at me." The wise master replies, "Then why do you still carry their violence?" This is what we do when we refuse to forgive. We keep the pain alive by holding on to it. The moment we put it down, the weight disappears. The past cannot be changed, but our relationship with it can. Forgiving does not mean forgetting. It does not mean pretending the hurt never happened. It means you choose not to let it control you. In Buddhism, this is called letting go of attachment. Attachment to anger, to revenge, to old wounds. These things do not heal you. They only keep the suffering fresh. True strength is not found in fighting the past. It is found in releasing it. Some believe that forgiveness is for the weak. But ask yourself, what takes more courage? To stay trapped in bitterness, or to rise above it? A burning coal, held tightly, does not harm the person who threw it. It only burns the hand that refuses to let go. Letting go is not weakness. It is the highest form of wisdom. When someone wrongs you, their actions belong to them, but your response belongs to you. You cannot control what others do, but you can control whether you allow it to destroy your peace. Forgiveness is not for their sake, it is for your own. You deserve to be free from the prison of old wounds. You deserve to walk forward without the weight of what was done to you. The Buddha once told a story of a man who was struck by an arrow. Instead of seeking a healer, he kept demanding to know who shot him, why they did it, and what the arrow was made of. His pain continued because he was more focused on the past than on healing. This is what happens when we hold on to hurt. We keep asking, why did they do this to me? Instead of asking, how can I heal? Forgiveness does not require an apology. Many wait for those who hurt them to feel sorry, to make amends. But some people will never admit their wrongs. Some may not even realize they have hurt you. If you tie your healing to their remorse, you may never heal. You do not need their permission to let go. Anger and resentment do not punish your enemy. They only poison your heart. The one who hurt you has already taken enough from you. Your trust, your happiness, your sense of security. Will you also let them take your peace? When you forgive, you are not excusing their actions. You are reclaiming your power. There is a beautiful practice in Buddhism called metta, or loving-kindness meditation. It teaches us to extend goodwill even to those who have wronged us. This does not mean allowing them to hurt us again. It means wishing them wisdom, so they may stop harming others. Because when they see their mistakes, they, too, will suffer. Hate only creates more hate. But compassion ends the cycle. If you wait until you feel ready to forgive, you may wait forever. Forgiveness is not a feeling. It is a decision. A choice to stop replaying the pain. A choice to no longer let the past define you. It does not happen all at once. It is a path, walked step by step. Some days will be harder than others. But with each step, the weight becomes lighter. You might ask, but what if I cannot forgive? Then do not force it. Start with the smallest step, wishing yourself peace. The more you release the anger, the more space there is for healing. Even the deepest wounds can fade with time if you do not keep scratching them open. Imagine your mind as a still lake. Every grudge is like a stone thrown into it. The more stones you throw, the more ripples disturb the surface. But when you stop throwing, the water settles. In that stillness, you find clarity. In that clarity, you find freedom. Some pains never fully disappear, but their hold on you can. The past may have shaped you, but it does not have to define you. The moment you choose to forgive, you choose to step out of the shadow of what was done to you. You choose to walk forward with peace instead of pain. One day, you will look back and realize that the person who hurt you no longer has power over your heart. Not because they changed, but because you did. Because you chose to no longer be a prisoner of their actions. Because you chose peace over suffering. Because you chose to be free. Letting go is not easy, but neither is holding on. The difference is that one path leads to endless suffering, while the other leads to liberation. Which path will you choose? Becoming unshakable, rising above hurt forever. Imagine a mountain standing tall. Storms come, winds roar, rain crashes down, but the mountain remains. It does not fight the storm, nor does it run from it. It simply exists, calm, steady, unshaken. This is how your heart must become. People will hurt you, words will sting, and betrayals will shake your trust, but you must stand like the mountain, unshakable. You might wonder, how can I reach this state? How can I stop being affected by pain? The answer is not in changing the world, nor in making others kinder. It is in changing yourself, in mastering your mind. Pain only stays when you hold on to it. Like fire clinging to a burning log, it exists because you keep feeding it. But the moment you let go, suffering loses its fuel. Think about the last time someone hurt you. Maybe they lied. Maybe they abandoned you. Maybe they treated you like you were nothing. That pain felt real, didn't it? It felt like an arrow shot straight into your heart. But here is the truth. Pain is like an arrow that can only wound if you let it. The first arrow comes from life. The second arrow comes from your mind. The first is unavoidable. The second is optional. If you stop replaying the past, stop feeding the wound, stop defining yourself by that pain, the second arrow never strikes. Most people live trapped in their suffering because they believe it defines them. I was hurt, therefore I am broken. No, you are not your pain. You are not your past. You are the awareness that observes it all, like the sky watching passing clouds. If you can see this, then you are already free. Some will say, but they did something unforgivable. Yes, perhaps they did. But ask yourself, does holding on to anger heal you? Does replaying the pain erase what happened? Or does it only keep the wound open? Forgiveness is not about them. It is about freeing yourself. It is not weakness. It is the greatest strength. Imagine holding a hot coal in your hand, hoping to throw it at someone who wronged you. Who burns first? You do. This is what anger does. This is what resentment does. No matter how justified your pain may seem, no matter how deeply you were wronged, holding on to it only keeps you bound. But the moment you let go, the fire dies out. And suddenly, there is peace. This does not mean you allow others to hurt you again. Being unshakable does not mean being a fool. If someone has shown you their true nature, be wise enough to create distance. But distance does not require hatred. Protection does not require bitterness. You can walk away with peace in your heart instead of poison. Look around you. Everything changes. The people who hurt you, they will fade like footprints in the sand. The pain you feel now, it will pass like yesterday's storm. Even your own self, your thoughts, your emotions, they shift like waves in the ocean. So why hold on to anything so tightly? A great Zen master once said, let go or be dragged. Life is movement. If you resist, you suffer. If you flow, you are free. Whatever happened to you, Whatever pain you carry, do not let it define you. You are greater than your suffering. You are not the wound. You are the healer. Now, take a deep breath. Feel the weight you have been carrying, and let it go. Just for this moment, drop it. Be like the mountain. Still, strong, free. If this journey has brought you wisdom, then share it with others. Let the world see that suffering is not the end, but the beginning of awakening. This is wisdom woven, where pain transforms into peace, and the broken become whole. Like, share, subscribe, and walk forward with an unshakable heart, becoming unshakable, rising above hurt forever. Imagine a mountain standing tall. Storms come, winds roar, rain crashes down, but the mountain remains. It does not fight the storm, nor does it run from it. It simply exists, calm, steady, unshaken. This is how your heart must become. People will hurt you, words will sting, and betrayals will shake your trust, but you must stand like the mountain. Unshakable. You might wonder, how can I reach this state? How can I stop being affected by pain? The answer is not in changing the world, nor in making others kinder. It is in changing yourself, in mastering your mind. Pain only stays when you hold on to it. Like fire clinging to a burning log, it exists because you keep feeding it. But the moment you let go, suffering loses its fuel. Think about the last time someone hurt you. Maybe they lied. Maybe they abandoned you. Maybe they treated you like you were nothing. That pain felt real, didn't it? It felt like an arrow shot straight into your heart. But here is the truth. Pain is like an arrow that can only wound if you let it. The first arrow comes from life. The second arrow comes from your mind. The first is unavoidable. The second is optional. If you stop replaying the past, stop feeding the wound, stop defining yourself by that pain, the second arrow never strikes. Most people live trapped in their suffering because they believe it defines them. I was hurt, therefore I am broken. No, you are not your pain. You are not your past. You are the awareness that observes it all, like the sky watching passing clouds. If you can see this, then you are already free. Some will say, but they did something unforgivable. Yes, perhaps they did. But ask yourself, does holding on to anger heal you? Does replaying the pain erase what happened? Or does it only keep the wound open? Forgiveness is not about them. It is about freeing yourself. It is not weakness. It is the greatest strength. Imagine holding a hot coal in your hand, hoping to throw it at someone who wronged you. Who burns first? You do. This is what anger does. This is what resentment does. No matter how justified your pain may seem, no matter how deeply you were wronged, holding on to it only keeps you bound. But the moment you let go, the fire dies out. And suddenly, there is peace. This does not mean you allow others to hurt you again. Being unshakable does not mean being a fool. If someone has shown you their true nature, be wise enough to create distance. But distance does not require hatred. Protection does not require bitterness. You can walk away with peace in your heart instead of poison. Look around you. Everything changes. The people who hurt you, they will fade like footprints in the sand. The pain you feel now, it will pass like yesterday's storm. Even your own self, your thoughts, your emotions, they shift like waves in the ocean. So why hold on to anything so tightly? A great Zen master once said, let go or be dragged. Life is movement. If you resist, you suffer. If you flow, you are free. Whatever happened to you, whatever pain you carry, do not let it define you. You are greater than your suffering. You are not the wound. You are the healer. Now, take a deep breath. Feel the weight you have been carrying, and let it go. Just for this moment, drop it. Be like the mountain. Still, strong, free. Your peace is in your hands, not in someone else's apology. Some will never say sorry. Some will never understand the hurt they caused. And that is okay. You do not need closure from them. You need closure from yourself. Give yourself the permission to move on. Give yourself the gift of peace. When you stop seeking validation, when you stop expecting fairness, when you stop waiting for justice, you become untouchable. The world will not always be kind. People will not always be loyal. But that does not have to shake you. You can choose to be above it all. You must understand, no one has power over you unless you hand it to them. They can say cruel words, but do you believe them? They can leave you, but do you abandon yourself? The world outside will always be unpredictable, but your inner world, that is yours to master. You have walked this far. You have carried so much. But now, it is time to release. Stand up, straighten your back, Breathe deeply. Today, you step forward as someone new. Someone who refuses to be shaken. Someone who does not break, but bends like the wind. Someone who sees pain, acknowledges it, but does not bow to it. If this journey has brought you wisdom, then share it with others. Let the world see that suffering is not the end, but the beginning of awakening. This is wisdom woven, where pain transforms into peace, and the broken become whole. Like, share, subscribe, and walk forward with an unshakable heart.